Welcome back to Diecast Culture. It's another glorious sunny afternoon on a Sunday in the UK, and my last video was about 3.5 weeks ago where I reviewed no less than 29 Hot Wheels majorette and Matchbox. So I'm going to do similar today, probably around about 20 vehicles, a little bit less. These are vehicles that I found over the last couple of months. So without further ado, let's go ahead. So I'm picking these out of a bag randomly. I don't know what I'm going to pick up next. So the first one is a Mazda MX-5 Miata, and this certainly caught my eye. It's a custom version, really cool. As always, love the artwork for Hot Wheels. Let's get it out. It feels fairly lightweight. One criticism straight away that I have is that the roof is not metal, it is plastic, part of the glass. Otherwise, a lot of creativity has gone into this. Basic Tampo lights on the back. Do like the wheels. What I find is clever with Hot Wheels designs is that they take one design and then they paint them with different, they treat them differently, so those rims could be chromed. In this instance they're grey. Nice body kit with the arches. So next up, what have we got in this bag? Let's take a look. This feels like a premium due to the weight. Let's have a look. What is it? Okay. Alright, it is Disney Pixar cars. And I don't normally collect Disney Pixar, but what I do like about it is it's quite close to 1/64 scale. I mean, could be about 1/60 scale, but it's a lovely late 1950s, I guess, early 60s finned monster. Piece of fun cartoon artwork. Nicky B. Okay, let's unpack it. Lovely primrose colour. And ordinarily I would have got a marker pen to black out the windows to omit the eyes, but my son previously said no, leave them on, so they're going to stay. Plastic wheels, nothing special there, and no interior. But I'm going to put it next to this Miata. You can see it's pretty much in scale. Okay, moving on. Okay, this feels like a premium. Well, it's a semi-premium, so there we go. So again, I'm not going to excuse myself, but this series I wouldn't normally invest in or choose to get, but again this caught my eye. So this is part of the Track Fleet series, Hot Wheels, and this is called Bugcation. It's pretty cool. So it comprises of a 3-axled heavily modified VW Beetle, which actually I think is the coolest part, and a plastic trailer which looks like you could sleep in it with that black window, except for when it looks like you can't. So it is actually a car hauler, perhaps a race car hauler or something like that. But yeah, I thought it was a bit of fun, quite cool. Do like the artwork on it. Just to the left of the Beetle you've got a mean looking truck and some futuristic truck next to that, and then another quite eye-catching, more traditional truck. Those other ones are more to 190 scale. Wouldn't it be great if the truck next to the Beetle here in the drawing was 164 scale, but it's not going to be. Okay, let's crack it open. So let's take a look at the Beetle first. Ah, Jesus Christ, how does that come off? Okay, so I'm not going to force it at the moment. So the die-cast bit of the Beetle is obviously the main car. It's got a really cool sun visor there, and lovely cream blue aqua paintwork. What does it say on the side of the door? Can't quite make it out. Do like the steely style wheels, extra large wheels in the back. And this is, I would say, spot on 164 scale. It's quite narrow. A Beetle is quite narrow. Would have been fantastic if the wheels had been real riders, in other words rubber tyres, real rubber tyres. They would have looked so much better, particularly when on a model like this the wheels are completely exposed. Shiny plastic base. And a couple of mean looking chrome stacks at the back. Yeah, and then the trailer bit, like I said earlier, it is all plastic, except actually for the base. The base is metal. It's a small base, but it is nonetheless metal, which weighs it down a little bit. And there is space on the top for a car to sit, and what looks like toolbox on the top there, and something else. No detail on the back except for what passes for some lighting. No decos on the back at all. And the other thing you need to work out is, I guess you can imagine that those are ramps which would come down to the tarmac. Obviously they don't work, so you'll use your imagination. Let's pop that down. Put that down there. Yeah, that does look pretty cool, and I think we can probably fit the Miata on there. The track's too wide. Okay, we will no doubt come across a car later in this video that does fit on it. Okay, yeah, I think that's pretty cool. I like it. Moving on. What have we got in the bag next? Let's have a look. Okay, this sounds like feels like a mainline due to the weight, and yeah, this is awesome. So this is a very early Ford Model A Custom 1931, heavily customised, with the wheel arches cut out, or the wings if you like, cut out, cut off, an exposed engine, fantastic matte red paintwork, and I'm sure you guys can read online about the designer, what went through his mind when he made this. I think he might have a 1:1 scale version of it. Very nice. So let's get it open. So on a lot of these basics, I don't keep the packaging unless it's especially eye-catching. Here it is. Yeah, I do like this. It sits really high actually. Really high ground clearance if you put it next to the Miata. But it is awesome, and it would go well actually with the Ford 32 Coupe and some rat rods maybe. The wheels are fantastic on these. There's only 2 spokes on that, and they're quite thin. The axles are sort of beefed up there, and yeah, the profile of the tyres are quite rounded. That's awesome. do like that small back window. Let's does it fit in there? Oh yes, it does. And actually, yeah, that looks quite cool. Okay, moving on. I feel a premium in my hands here. This is a Mazda 787B. I'd never heard of a 787B until Hot Wheels made it. And fantastic artwork. What is this, a 1970s race car, possibly Le Mans? I don't know. Were Mazda in Le Mans? I don't know. But all the same, it looks pretty cool. So as similar to many race cars of that period, they've got arrow straight sides, more or less. So being a premium package, I think I will keep the package. I said in a previous video that the aim was to choose the best packages and put them behind glass on a picture frame as a piece of Hot Wheels art. Okay, let's get it open. So I've carefully opened, slicing off the blister pack with a craft knife, so you're just left with the card. Okay, and now for the car itself. What I like about matte paintwork often on models is it seems to improve the detail somewhat. And I always wonder whether this rear portion opens. Oh, it's a separate piece. You can see it slightly moving from the main body there, but does it open? Oh, okay. Okay, again, I'm not going to force it. Oh, that is really, you can see that's really loose. Does that come open? Okay, like I said, does it open like that? Oh, look at that. Oh, look at that. You can hear my excitement. That is so cool. Wow, I never knew that could happen, and there was no inkling of it when it was in the blister pack. I mean, there was a slight inkling because I could see quite a divide, panel gap if you wish, but isn't that cool? It's got real riders. You can see the torsion bars, or whatever they're called, reinforcement bars going across one another, and sort of mid-engine, looks like the engine is forward of the rear wheels. This is awesome. It is a plastic spoiler, and you got this separate piece here. Okay, so this has got me excited. That is awesome. So no doubt in a few decades' time, in a charity or junk shop, if this is ever found, it will probably be missing this, and it will just be that. Still looks cool. So let's slot that back in. I hope I didn't force it too much. So it just sits there. Okay. And there was I kind of forcing it. Okay, so I think it's okay. Point to note, the mainline version of this, the spoiler is in metal, which is, well, I think it's a plus point. Some say that a plastic spoiler affords a little bit more finesse in terms of design, but I wouldn't say that's the case in this instance. So yeah, a shame that the spoiler isn't die cast as well, but I guess Hot Wheels are trying to keep their profit. But yeah, what a fantastic racing car. Love the tampoed headlights. Isn't that awesome? Wheels are great. Got a gold line along the bottom there. And yeah, let's just take that off again. Yeah, so you lift the back off first. And that slots in like that. Oh, that's cool. I do like that. Right, let's stick that there. Okay, next up, let's delve into this bag this goodie bag. What else have I got here? This feels like a majorette packaging, pink slips. So Porsche Cayenne Turbo S. Yep, I saw this in our local toy store, small local toy store in the neighbouring village. And so Majorette got together with Jada to do a collab, or whatever you want to call it. Jada has effectively, I guess, said, okay, we'll put some highlights on your Majorette vehicles and call them pink slips. And this is what you have. So it's semi-premium, rubber tyres, opening features, opening boot in this case. And I won't be keeping the packaging on this, even though that artwork is actually quite cool. So let's get it open. So as you saw earlier, it comes with this little box, a little bit like a Matchbox principle idea, little piece of packaging. This retailed, I think, for around about £4. So in the UK right now, Hot Wheels are typically £2, maybe £1.70, maybe £2.30. So £4 for this, given the fact it's got rubber tyres and opening feature. So it's a good bit of boot space there. Snaps shut, nicely fitted. Don't like the back window design on a lot of Majorettes. They look like they're not properly embedded into the door. And I wish they wouldn't use clear glass. No cars today have completely clear glass. They're always tinted, particularly the side and rear windows, not the front or the windscreen. Well, even those are slightly tinted. So yeah, quite cool. Lensed lights, and you can just make out the Porsche logo. Got a tow bar on it. So yeah, not bad. Let's pop it over there. Right, moving on. Oh, yeah, hang on. Yeah, right, so moving on. What have I got? This is a Hot Wheels mainline, I think. It is. If you heard that, that was my dog coughing. It is a Hoto Roto kind of rat rod. Well, it is a rat rod. I like the matte blue paint on this. And yeah, caught my eye. It's got a long wheelbase. Crazy design. Reminds me of Welder Up TV series based in Las Vegas. What's the name of the TV program? I can't remember now. But they specialise in rat rods. They do just some crazy designs, not unlike this. So, Moto Roto. Awesome. This is definitely not an electric car. Yeah, so a lot of dazzling metalwork there, in inverted commas. Chromed grille. Nice steely wheels at the back. Don't care for the wheels at the front. And a tapering rear. So that might look quite good on the VW. Will it fit? It does, it fits. But actually, for colour contrast, I actually quite like that. So we'll stick that there. Right, moving on. What is next? Okay, it's time for this. This is something very different. This is a diecast producer called Altea, which I think is linked with IXO. I can't be sure. And this is strictly 1/64 scale. This is a tractor cab which goes with a trailer, and the livery is for the Pindar Circus, which was founded by the Pindar brothers in the UK in around about 1894, if I remember rightly. And they spent a lot of time holding circuses in France, and then it changed hands, it became French owned, I believe, and to this day the Pindar Circus, I understand, is still pretty busy, pretty active. So this is awesome, just the sheer quality, the detail. This is available, I think, in 1/43 scale, which I don't collect, but what I did notice, of course, with 1/43 scale is that it affords quite a bit more detail, it seems. And what's more is that actually 1/64 scale quite commonly can be actually as expensive, or sometimes more expensive, than 1/43 or bigger. I guess the advantage of 1/64 scale is that it takes up less space if you like collecting as I do. So gorgeous contrasting red and yellow paintwork. Can't wait to get this open. I've got a feeling it's got metal base, and yeah, that is so cool, so cool. I'm not going to keep the packaging on this, there's nothing special, although I do like the blue background with the stars. That actually does look quite cool. But yeah, no, I'm going to ditch the packaging. And as you can see, the packaging is actually really bland at the back. So I bought this from a French guy in France. So this is 14th of March 2003, it seems. So it's been sitting on Anthony's shelf for some time. And he bought it for €11, 11.95 euros. I paid a bit more for it than that. So what I didn't see in the packaging is that it's got this chromed exhaust stack on the side, albeit a little one, and you've got chromed mirrors on both sides, windscreen wipers, nice detailed registration plate on the front, chrome bumpers, lensed headlights, and blinds in the windows. Isn't that cool? Sleeper cab, I guess. Inside you can see it's got two black interior, black seats, steering wheel, and then on the back you've got the fifth wheel. Base, so the base is indeed metal. Let's turn it around. It's got 1/64 scale printed on it, and what does that say? Tractor in French, tractor something something. Can't quite make it out right now. A little bit of chassis detail and cart springs detail, fuel tanks, exhaust pipes. The yellow is metal, or is it metal? No, it's plastic. Okay, so the yellow is plastic. The red is metal. Yeah, you can see the join between the yellow and the red there. So, okay, well, you know, it would be nice to have it all die-cast, but it's not. So the yellow is plastic, and it's quite cleverly set into the metal chassis, if you like. But what a gorgeous design from the 1960s, I guess. Isn't that fantastic? And just putting it next to a Hot Wheels or a Majorette, Majorette, you can see that it is genuinely 1/64 scale. Now, just to also show you that this tractor unit comes with a trailer, an accommodation trailer, and boy is this fantastic. Here it is. Oh, no, hang on, that is actually the rocket, what is it? Okay, the rocket truck, whatever. Okay, we'll come back to that. Where's the trailer? Here somewhere. Accommodation trailer. Now, this is awesome. So you can see that it's got blinds in the windows, and metal base, so I guess it's plastic in yellow. It's got roof lights shaded in red, and what I like about it is the back of this. Don't you love the, well, I love the 50s designs, 50s, 60s designs. Everything was just so artistic. Look at that, it's just fantastic. So this, I think, is the other way around. So the red on this occasion is plastic and the yellow is metal die cast. It's got a lion motif on the side there, blinds in the windows. That's just awesome. Double axle, and let's just have a closer look at this rear. Registration plate, license plate, nice tail lights. 60 kilometers per hour, that's about 40 miles an hour. That's really slow. I think the problem with this is that because the materials have been swapped, they don't quite match, but what you're going to like is the way these two fit together. It is so seamless. Okay, so hopefully this is focusing. Yeah, I mean, look at that. What a join. That's fantastic. So yeah, whether the camera's picking up, I don't know, but I can see that the red on the trailer is slightly different colour to that on the tractor unit. On the base it says Remorque Habitation, so it's I think a accommodation trailer, Remorque. I don't know what exactly that means in French. And 1/64 scale. It's a plastic base. So I was very lucky to come across this. If you look on eBay, well, certainly eBay UK, there's quite a number of Pinder vehicles in 1/64 scale and 143. And they really are lovely quality, and really relatively inexpensive. I do like that. There is also a bus which is sort of similar design to this, which I was tempted to get, and also an accommodation, no, not an accommodation, a electricity power generator truck, which is awesome. The power generator truck is available in both those scales. In 143 it affords a hell of a lot more detail than it does in 1/64, but hey ho. So we're going to pop this at the back. Rolls well. That is awesome. Look at that, how it fits together. That is fantastic. And this design actually reminds me, whilst I'm talking about it, about I read an article, in fact it was a YouTuber who talked about this explorer who this was back in the Second World War period, so just before Second World War, about 1938. He decided to travel to Africa with a couple of custom-made accommodation trailers in a very similar design to what you see here, really streamlined. And he was an explorer. Instead of he made a point of saying, instead of shooting animals, he would capture them on camera. Later during his exploration trip, his accommodation trailers were later acquired by, I think it was in the Belgian Congo. I might be completely wrong, but essentially the Belgians confiscated them and used them as hospital units out in the field. Quite interesting story. Whilst we're on Pinder, let's get back to this rocket mobile. I mean, look at that, that is just crazy. I do like cartoon style stuff. It's so eye-catching, so iconic, and just look at this. As John Lamley says on the Lamley channel, would you take a look at that? is awesome. Okay, so let's get it out of the package. Awesome is the descriptive word. This is quite a heavy piece. It's all metal, apart from the base, and you've got clear windows there showing accommodation within. Looks like a desk with a chair inside, together with a couple of couches, and la piste aux étoiles. So that's, what does that stand for? That means the road to the stars, or something like that. Pinder. That's so gorgeous. Just the shape of it, the style, fantastic. And it says on the front, Le Tour du Monde en 3 heures. So the tour of the world in 3 hours. So it's got, kind of giving the impression that, I guess, being a rocket ship, it can take off into space. It's got lens lights at the front, what looks like a air intake. You can see a big steering wheel, a couple of seats, quite fragile mirrors, a flag on the top made of plastic which is hollow, and around the back you've got the rocket exhaust motor, which looks a bit cheap actually, to be honest with you, but I think with a bit of pin washing, I think the term is, you can make it look a little bit more realistic by highlighting some of the detail. But yeah, I do like this piece, and what I especially like about it is that it is exactly 1/64 scale. So if we place it next to any of these vehicles, they're a little bit tight, they don't roll, those rear wheels, very easily. If you put it next to any of those pieces, you can see that it fits in quite well. Okay, what a lovely afternoon. I'll just show you what where I'm sitting. You can appreciate the weather. Look at that gorgeous blue sky. Whoa, check that out. Okay, so let's get back to Diecast. Next up, Hot Wheels Basic. What have we got? We have the classic BMW 2002. Of course, it caught my eye. It's a cool BMW. Just one thing being critical is that, yeah, we know that for a lot of Hot Wheels and a lot of other cars in the 1/64 scale range, the 1/64 is sort of a generic term in some cases, so this is actually near a 1/60, 1/58 scale probably. But I love the execution, fantastic, the artwork, and I think I'm going to keep this artwork. So there is the artwork minus the blister pack, and let's get hold of the car. Lovely colour. It's almost sort of mustardy, with the M3, with the M tuning stripes. Very bland front with some detail, quite a detailed BMW badge. Nice wheels. It's got those traditional, traditional lights, black interior, seats with headrests. So yeah, I do like that. Hot Wheels designers currently are doing such a great job of certain vehicles. They're really making an effort for a little bit more realism to appeal to the adult collector. Okay, let's stick it over here somewhere. Right, nearing the end. Another basic mainline. What have we got? Another, I say another because I opened a different colour variation of this on the previous video. This is a Morgan Super 3. This vehicle was designed in around about 2008, if I recall. Impressive performance figures for a small engine because it's such a light vehicle. This was, I think, a take on the original Morgan three-wheeler, which was designed in the 1950s. Lovely artwork there, really cool. Let's get it open. Now this unusually has a metal base, which is great. It just adds a little bit more weight to the toy, and I guess Hot Wheels can afford to do this sometimes if the casting is particularly small, which this is. Awesome. Nice skinny wheels, and we're going to pop that there. Now in fact, I think that this could look quite cool on the VW trailer. Yep, even the blue matches, and it's correspondingly quite small. That actually fits quite well, so sorry to the Ford Coupe. Okay, right, another main line coming up. What have we got? We have, oh, this is such a classic, instant classic cool casting. I've got two of these. 1975 Chevy Blazer Custom, and this is awesome. It'll be interesting to see what colours variations this comes out in the future, but for a basic mainline, it's hard to get better, to be honest with you. Okay, so let's open it out. Awesome. It's quite solidly constructed. The windscreen is not going to break easily, nor is the roll bar. And yeah, I love the sort of that period. These side panels coloured in. You've got exhaust out the rear there, chromed bumpers, part of the chrome base. And what's nice here is that the headlights are actually part of the die-cast body. It kind of gives a feeling of solidity, just better integrity. Wheels are cool. Wheels are cool because they're not overly fat, and also they're not a crazy wide track sticking out beyond the body. In fact, if anything, you could actually almost say it's slightly too far in, but this just looks so period. It's just awesome. Okay, like I said, I've got two of those, and rightly so. Right, I got a feeling that's two more. You got a mainline and a premium, another classic Chevy Silverado 1983. I have got rather a lot of colour variations of this over the time, which Hot Wheels have produced over the last, what, 10-15 years. And yet again, they surprise you with quite an eye-catching design. So you've got wood effect side strips, baby blue, white roof. Isn't that fantastic? What a classic square body. Let's get it open. It's nothing like a toy hobby like this to get you excited. Right, will get me excited anyway. So these are all the cars I would love to own in real life, but it just makes it easier owning them in 1/64 scale. White interior. Yeah, let's just get magnified. Oh, white all tyres. Ain't she a beauty? Oh, awesome. Awesome. Okay. Right, do we have room on the mat? Let's pop it just there. Right, I do believe this is the last one, guys. And we're going to finish on a premium Hot Wheels. What is it? Ah, it is. It is. MG Metro 6R4. So I never knew until Hot Wheels produced it that the Austin Metro came in a rally version, and instant classic with its squareness. So the Austin Metro in stock road going form in the UK when it came out in about mid-1980s, I guess, was a super boring car. Really stayed. It was designed to replace the original Mini, and it didn't quite have the charm of the original Mini. This was we used to car share as a family when I was a kid, so I went to school in about 3 different types of cars. One was a Volvo Estate, which I've mentioned on previous videos, which is really cool, and the other was this Austin Metro, which was you felt a little bit exposed in it because there's so much glass and it's a really tiny car. But Hot Wheels have done, what a cool version. Love the artwork. Real riders, rubber tyres. Right. So I have kept the packaging on this one, and boy, this is pretty cool. Really small casting. I think the scale is quite accurate. So whilst it's a fairly small car, now that it's got these flared wheel arches and a wider track, it has much more road presence. Hot Wheels Rally, number 10 MG, Morris Garages. Okay, so I don't think MG was anything to do with the Austin Metro at this time. Maybe it was. And it's got some period sponsorship there. Let's I think it's Castrol GTX and something else. Solid metal rear spoiler. The Hot Wheels premium ones have done so well. What is that on the back shelf? Is that the engine? Yeah. Serious roll cage in there, it seems. Metal base, real riders. Yeah, so let's pop that pride of place in the centre, and that, I believe, yeah, that's it. Those are all the cars that were in my bag. So until next time, I'm in no rush to acquire stuff, but do occasionally drop into a supermarket, and if I do come across the odd interesting casting every now and then, and also on eBay. So I try to choose carefully, if you like, just to manage my collection. I also try to sell some stuff on eBay. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. You can probably feel my passion for these vehicles. Happy hunting, happy collecting. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and catch up with you later. See you later. Bye.